Hey everyone, Matron here bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time a pro-level game in the best of 5 semi-final series of the Intel Extreme Masters tournament held this past weekend in New York City. This is going to be a matchup between QXC, the blue Terran, and Huck, the red Protoss, on Steps of War. Both these players made it out of group play and into the semi-finals here, so now we'll see a best of 5 series to see who moves on to the finals. I did cast one of Huck's group play games. Pretty extreme with murder on Metalopolis. Really long game, really big macro game. Both players are on 4 and 5 bases, so we'll see if this game on a smaller map probably won't get that large, but we'll see how it goes. Huck throwing down first pylon a little closer to his base. See most players, well, many players, create the first pylon closer to the ramp for a bit of a wall off, though he may not be too afraid of QXC, any sort of rush to start. Huck doing some great harass with his probe. Huck's a very economical player. He likes pumping out the probes before he throws down the gateway, usually putting down a 14 gateway, doing a lot of micro with his scouting probe here, weakening up a lot of these SCVs. You'll see at the end here, probably have a number of SCVs to half health, so they'll be easy pickings later on if he ever does any sort of work or harass. QXC getting his gas and barracks finishing just about the same time. So he's going to push out a Marine to try to stop this harass from Huck. Huck again working on multiple SCVs, he's now got 3 of them down to half health. QXC is in Huck's space, pretty standard opening for Huck. Probably expect a cybernetic score thrown down momentarily in this back pylon. On the right side here. And Huck going to create his first zealot to try to stop the scouting of QXC. Looks like following that first Marine, QXC is going for a tech lab. And just going to start with the Marauder. So no sort of Reaper play here. Again, in the next patch, Reapers be severely slowed down, as you'll have to make a supply depot before you can create a barracks. Like cybernetic score finishes. It looks like he decides to chrono out a Stalker rather than chronoing the Warp Gate research. So both players with 2 initial units, Marine, Marauder, Stalker, and Zealot. Looks like QXC is going for this concussive shell research. Combined with the Marine, you can do pretty good damage against early Protoss units. And QXC may be pushing out for some sort of early pressure here. Huck's throwing down a second gateway. And QXC is transitioning into a factory. Don't see a lot of factory play. Here we got a small encounter here. Trying to focus down this Stalker. This Marauder needs to micro back. Looks like the second Stalker comes in to finish up that Marauder. Huck takes that encounter. He's going to be able to run down this Marauder, as the Stalker's much faster than the Marauder. But a second Marauder comes in, they're going to try to focus down this Stalker, and then they're going to be able to slow this Zealot. A lot of good micro here. You can be able to take down this Zealot with the concussive shell before it can get to the Marauder, which is very low life. Not sure why I didn't kill that Zealot there. Should have finished that off. Again, just creating pylons, lots of energy all over. If he wants to hide some tech up here, he can do so. QXC decides to use a scan. He's also going to be able to see any sort of drops on the side of his base if he anticipates some sort of medevac drop. Looks like the factory is up. It's creating a reactor, probably for the starport, which is going to finish shortly as well. You'll see him lift off the starport and the factory and start pumping medevacs. Huck's created a robotics facility. saw in the game with Murder, Huck went for Colossus with his Zealot and Stalker army. So we'll see if he does the same thing here to try to combat the MMM ball, which he may expect. Huck's going to push out here, a little bit of pressure on his own. See how QXC responds. Both players scouting all over the map. QXC has got this SCV pushing out, taking this tower. And it looks like he's going to use this factory as well to scout. See, that's something a lot of pro players do after they create that factory, and it allows them to create this starport. They'll just use the factory as a big 1200 HP scout and float it right over Huck's base. They won't waste a scan, because again, a scan is going to cost you a mule and 300 some minerals. Huck's got an observer out of his own, so he's going to take that into QXC's base and probably see nothing too surprising, just Marines, Marauders here. QXC now going to land that starport on the reactor here and probably make two medevacs. QXC did throw up a bunker here, so he saw Huck move out. Looks like he's going to try a bit of a drop, but Huck's ready for it. Not sure if he saw that with the pylon. I don't think the pylon extended range that far, so he might have seen it in the very, very back. And QXC does a great job putting up one missile turret in the middle of your base. If you're not controlling your observer very well as Protoss, you can fly it right into this missile turret and lose it in just a few shots. Luckily, Huck was paying attention, just took 2 shots there, not that third deadly shot. Huck's going to do some cleaning up of the map here. Looks like QXC may try another drop into the back of Huck's base with Huck Stalkers out to play in the center. Huck sees it and he's going to warp in off of his gateways and try to take down the medevac. Going to micro back this Stalker best he can so he doesn't lose it to these Marines. And does a great job there, losing no units, and he's going to be able to take down this medevac. So far we've seen a few potential drops from QXC. Huck's done a great job to combat those with these pylons and timely warping in of units. Some good micro on both parts. Huck saving the Stalker there, QXC taking down units early on with the concussive shell. Here we have an encounter. He needs to get these Immortals to the front and focus down these Marauders. QXC is going to focus down the Immortals. With the Marines there attacking very quickly, they can bust through that Immortal shield. Both players have their expansions up now. Huck's going to see that here, and looks like his observer, he now has 2 of, going to follow the army of QXC. QXC with a great scan there catches both observers, so see if Huck's going to push out another observer. Again, information is key in StarCraft 2, so he's going to want to have eyes on his opponent at all times. Huck did throw down a proxy here. He hasn't yet used it, and it looks like QXC is going to take it down with 1 Marauder here. Huck may have seen that medevac move out here on the right side though. Looks like he did, and he's going to prepare excellently with these 6 Stalkers. So again, a split army for Huck. He's going to make sure he's covered in his main and out front. He should be expecting this medevac shortly. QXC is going to do a good job, switch it up, and drop in the natural of Huck. Should be doing a lot of damage here. Huck's army is a little bit out of position and just takes down a few workers. Wants no part of those Stalkers. He's going to drop again in the minerals here. Pick up and should be getting out of here before any damage done to this medevac. So great harass there by QXC, taking down workers. If we look at the income tab, relatively even, 40 to 42. Again, the mule advantage goes to the Terran, and QXC is now getting out tanks. So it's something you don't often see in these games. The factory is a little bit underutilized in my opinion, especially with these ground games. You only really see tanks in TVT when both players are going for Marines, Marauders, and often on a larger map as well. So we'll see how these tanks play into the map. You wonder if one player is going to get some sort of map control in the middle and really expand and macro up here. So QXC playing very defensive, 3 tanks by his natural. Huck's going to move out with a force here. He does have this Colossus, does not yet have Thermal Lance. If we look at the production tab, it looks like Thermal Lance is being researched, so you wonder if Huck should wait for that Thermal Lance to finish. It's at 17 out of 140 game time. He's not going to, so these Colossus are going to be in the front. They can be easily focused down by these Marauders. The tanks are going to do their best to push back this large force that Huck has. A little bit of a flank here by QXC's forces. The QXC just does not have enough units. Viking comes out late. It's going to try to focus down this Colossus. But Huck's able to clean up most of this MMM ball. And it looks like QXC was able to defend there with some late reinforcements. A Viking taking down those 2 Colossus and is now going to push out. If we look at the army tabs, 1800 to 475. Huck's not going to be able to reinforce in time here. QXC does a good scan to make sure Huck doesn't have any sort of surprises waiting for him. Now he's just going to stim up and take down Huck's remaining forces, and we get a GG from Huck there. So Huck went in, attacked a little bit early, probably would have waited for the Thermal Lance. Better timing there. The range of the Colossus would have gone up from 6 to 9, and might have been able to keep those Colossus alive in the back, take out those tanks, and I don't know. It was a pretty good encounter there. Good game all around. Saw QXC do some good drops there, good harassment. Maybe Huck felt like he needed to push out there before the drops became too much to handle. So this has been game 1 of this best of 5 series in the Intel Extreme Masters semifinal matchup between Huck and QXC. Check out game 2, which I'll be casting, and hope you had a fun time watching. Thanks.